being forced to provide certain kind of health coverage over their religious objection to their employees. And under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, the question was, first, was this a substantial burden on their religious exercise? And it seemed to me quite clearly it was. It was a technical matter of filling out a form in that case, but that they said filling out the form would make them complicit in the provision of the abortion-inducing drugs that they were, as a religious matter, objected to. Second question was, did the government have a compelling interest, nonetheless, in providing the coverage to the employees? In applying the governing Supreme Court precedent from Hobby Lobby, I said that the answer to that was yes. The government did have a compelling interest, following Justice Kennedy's opinion in Hobby Lobby, said the government did have a compelling interest in ensuring access. And then it came down to the least restrictive means prong of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. And that prong of the act, to my mind, is an opportunity to see, is there a win-win in some respects? In other words, the government interest in ensuring health care coverage, can that be provided without doing it on the backs of the religious objector? So that's what the court's looking for. In that case, Professor Volok's written about that. And in that case, it seemed to me that the government had avenues to ensure that the coverage was provided without doing so on the backs of the religious objectors, and I so ruled, following the Supreme Court precedent in Hobby Lobby and in a subsequent case, Wheaton College, where they had an order that I followed and seemed to me to dictate the result that I identified in the Priest for Life dissent. Another case, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, just to reiterate, was overwhelmingly passed by Congress in the early 1990s and signed by President Clinton, and was an important addition to the protection of religious freedom in the United States to supplement the constitutional protection that exists in the Free Exercise Clause.
Well, and I would note, much like yesterday when we discussed your pro bono representation of the synagogue, that Priest for Life, using the paradigm that some on the Democratic aisle have suggested of little guy versus big guy, by any measure, the Priests for Life were the little guy against the almost all-powerful federal government. And in that opinion, presumably because you felt the law dictated it, you sided with the Priest for Life in that decision.
That's correct, Senator, and I think in a lot of the religious freedom cases that the Supreme Court's had, that's been the case. There was a prisoner in an opinion written by Justice Alito, I believe unanimous opinion, where the prisoner is being a Muslim prisoner was being forced to shave his beard in violation of his religious beliefs. Justice Alito, as I recall, wrote the opinion for the Supreme Court saying that was a substantial burden on his religion and was not necessary. And that's just another example of how religious liberty protects all of us, no matter what our religious beliefs are. And that's an important principle, foundational principle, both of the Constitution and of the